Recovery. Today we're going to talk about coping with change, how to deal with the shift. Shift happens, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we deal with change? Change is inevitable. Change comes, doesn't it? All the time. All the time. Whether we want it or not. And even if it's good change, sometimes that can cause us stress, right? It says we may feel a mix of emotions ranging from joy to sadness and depression. So when I think about change, I want to, in honor of Alan, I want to talk about shift, how we shift in that change. It says a slight change in position or direction, a slight adjustment. It could be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it looks like. It's just a slight adjustment into what we want, what is more beneficial to us, right? When you think of coping, let me do coping real quick. Coping is to deal effectively with something difficult, to cope. When we think about change, when we think about those things that happen in our lives, what kind of things change?
Could be a financial change.
Financial change, absolutely. Those are critical, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those are a big shift in our lives. Yes, sir. What?
Mental change.
Mental change, a change in our abilities to cope, our abilities to think through things. What else? What other kind of change?
Could be a physical change.
Could be a physical change. If I break my leg, it's definitely going to change something, isn't it? Pamela says, good morning, and occupational. That change in work or volunteer. All these things happen, don't they? In the 8 dimensions that we deal with in recovery, things like occupational, spiritual, emotional, mental, environmental. Yeah, these things change, and it's hard. I don't know about y'all, I don't like change. It jerks my nerves. It makes me anxious. Sometimes free spinning. You're exactly right, Jeremy. We tend to spin, don't we? Oh, we'll do that after, okay? All right, so Suzanne's on. Good morning, Suzanne. Good to see you and Pamela this morning. Talking about change, talking about that shift. How do I deal with change in a way that helps me? In a way that doesn't inhibit what's going on around me, that doesn't shift me to a negative place. Because that can happen, can't it? When change happens, stress happens. And that's where we need to shift. Yes, sir.
Just like we got out of the coronavirus, and then now we have monkeypox, and so and even about 2 or 3 years ago, the flu.
Yeah.
So
these things happen, don't they? They change from one thing to another to another.
yeah.
And I don't know about you, but that's really difficult for me to wrap my mind around all these things that are happening. All these things that are going from point A to point B. Nice and loud. Yes, sir.
We have to find a way to adapt or work around it, because we have to realize that change is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we want it to or not, it's just about how we deal with it.
Yeah.
And some people, I hate to say it, but some people can't handle it mentally, but you have to find a way to get through it. And just adapt and find how it works for you and to your benefit.
How to adapt so it works for you and your benefit. Thank you, sir. That's right on the mark. That's what we want. It's that stress that happens with change, though, right? That's what gets me. When I get to that point of frustration, of sadness or depression or anxiety, I tend to go, right? I just get all worked up for nothing because change is inevitable. We're not going to get around it. It says with nearly every kind of change, stress is part of the equation. Trouble is when we're stressed, the pillars of healthy living like eating well, exercise, sleep, and social time tend to fall off our priority list, right? When change happens, I don't know, do you ever have a bad tooth and your tongue always goes to it? That's what it's like with change for me. I can't think of much beyond that change. I get caught up in it. I get overwhelmed by it. And that's where the stress comes. What are some things we can do to cope? To cope with change, to shift our change.
It's all mental.
Do what?
It's all mental.
How do we do that though? If it's all mental, how do we shift?
Focus and you meditate.
Focus and meditate. Focus on the positive, right? Oh, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. Suzanne says meditation is a good way. You're exactly right. One way to shift our mental, our spiritual, our emotional, isn't it? That's a quick way. Another way, and this is one of the things I try to do on a daily basis, is have a plan. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Think about how the change wouldn't be so bad. Like, what can you do where, like I say, it will benefit you, but how can it work for you?
Yeah.
And then just run with that, depending on what the change is.
Finding that way that it's positive for us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Move a muscle, change a thought, Pamela says. I like that. Move a muscle, change a thought. I've heard that. When we exercise, when we just move around, it helps us. My favorite thing to help me calm down is the physical contact of hugging. That exchange of energy. And I want to hug people that are, when I'm in that space, I want to get a hug from Cedric. When I get a hug from Cedric, man, he grabs on there and he holds you. And then you take a deep breath, suck in all that energy, let it go. Let it go. Yes, sir.
The seasons change too.
The seasons change too, don't they? Everything changes. And I don't have any control over it, do I?
No.
Change is inevitable. It happens. It happens. And I think it's that lack of control that gets me, right? That loss of control of the situation. Let's see. So plan ahead. If you know there's a change on the horizon, do some prep work. Think about what you might do if an elderly parent falls ill. If your company has been through recent layoffs, consider how you'll navigate a job change. Change is less stressful when you have a contingency plan, a backup plan. Yes, sir.
Like Jeremy said, like when the seasons change, for instance, it's spring when the allergy season it is. So it's like we take medicine for it. It helps some people, not everybody, for like Claritin or Legland.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's dealing with a mental thing, then I would say be active in your care
Ooh.
type thing. Like, so there's medicines that you can take,
Yeah.
but not all medications work for everybody.
Yeah.
The same.
Yeah.
So I would say be active in your care, like as far as adapting. Talk to your doctor, figure out what works best for you, because only you know what works best for you. You know what side effects you have from it, whether it's negative or positive. So be active and just talk about it.
You are on a roll today, sir. Be active in your recovery. Yeah, I love the example you gave. When seasons change, allergies happen. And when allergies happen, I've got an opportunity to, or I can take a medication, or I can do the thing where you squirt the stuff up your nose and it comes out the other side. That shit's gross as hell. I don't care what anybody says. But we can do something about that if we choose. If we choose. So plan ahead. Plan ahead. If I know something's coming, if I know that I've got a big project coming up and I need to shift what I've been doing to make time for that, It's up to me to do that, isn't it? It's up to me to plan ahead, to have that, what it said, contingency plan, backup plan, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, because shit happens, doesn't it? Change can continue to happen. And sometimes I need to handle it. Sometimes I need to take control of what I can do. Pamela says, have a toolbox that comes from Wellness Recovery Action Planning. Yay! Rap. I rap. Wellness Recovery Action Planning. That's the only rapping I do. No, I rap that one song. You remember I told you that one day? Yeah, I got one song I can rap.
It went a little.
Yeah. It was old white lady rap, but it was all good. See, we change according to the time, some of us. Another thing we can do is reframe our thinking. Look for that positive thing in there. Figure out what's going on in your mind when you're feeling sad and break that negative pattern. Once you become aware of negative thoughts, we're better equipped to shift them to emphasize the positive. For example, instead of, I don't deserve this raise, tweak it a little bit. Say to yourself, I worked hard for this. I worked hard for this. I'm not able to get through this. 2, I've successfully lived through everything up to this point 100% of the time. When I shift that, it allows me to think something different, to be able to walk through something in my mind in a way that makes it more beneficial. Suzanne says, look for our tribe. Look for our tribe. That can help us through change, like that hugging, like that sitting beside somebody that's got really good energy that can help us get through this. I don't want to say difficulty. I want to say experience. It's an experience. That's all it is. And when we can look at it like just something new, maybe we can look at the positive point of view, right? So if I point to you, that means you need to go out there and tell them to be quiet. Okay, what you got?
Experience teaches us how to handle it.
Okay, yeah, go tell them to be quiet. We have the loudest people in this area, don't we? They're just loud. But that's good. That's the change we have to adapt to sometimes. So you have a plan. My plan is for Patrick to go tell them to be quiet. And since I have a plan, chances are I'll get what I need, get what I want, get what we all can benefit from, right? Pamela says, journey life is always changing, never stays the same. As we grow, growth is change. And sometimes that's uncomfortable, isn't it? I think maybe always uncomfortable, that change. So we want to be able to have that plan. We want to be able to think in a different way, to use our skills, our coping mechanisms, to try something different. Yes, sir.
And change, a good way to look at it is change may not be so bad because through it we gain experience. And experience, I like to say, is about the best teacher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it helps us learn how to deal with it when it comes around again. You know, so if something negative comes, how will we know how to deal with it in a positive way?
Yeah.
If we haven't been through it.
Yeah.
You know?
When I experience something, it makes it easier the next time.
Right.
Right? And as I practice these things that can help me deal with change, cope with change, it becomes easier. It becomes easier. The more I do something, the easier it gets. Right? And we learn to deal with change. Some of us weren't taught very well, were we? How to deal with difficulties, how to deal with things that may cause a negative eruption in our lives, right? So when we learn to cope with those things, it says take some time to reflect. Take a moment. What's going on? Have I been through this before? Have I successfully navigated through this? Or has it been a negative experience? Even if it's a negative experience, we can use it in our future, right? Nothing has to be wasted. Nothing has to be wasted. All right, so take time to reflect. It must be Monday, right? With today's jam-packed schedules, most people don't take time to mark or mourn what we've been losing before diving into something new. To take a moment and say, how did this affect me? How did this affect my world in a way that that I shifted? Whether positive or beneficial or non-beneficial, right? I want to take a moment. What did this gift of change give me? How can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience and practice again and again and again? How can I effectively deal with change? What are my coping mechanisms, right? So take a minute. It says write in a journal, talk to a trusted friend, or make an appointment with someone you trust. You might even consider honoring the loss with a scrapbook, quilt, poem, or painting. Something that shows it. Something that I can show that I've taken a step back and looked for that thing that can benefit me in this situation. Right? Do we take time to reflect often? And you go, I don't a whole lot. I need to practice that. That's something I need to practice. And when I take a step back, it can help me do something different, something more beneficial. Because I'm looking at it, I'm seeing what works and what doesn't work for me, right? Strive to maintain some normalcy. Keep things the same as much as possible. Yes, sir.
I think it would be good for each of us to do like, just take time every now and then to do a self-evaluation to see like where we're at, where are we currently in our recovery?
Yeah.
What do we need to work on? What could we, work more on? Like I'm here, I'm doing this well, this needs some work or attention, so I need to focus more on this. I've been doing this well, either whatever it may be, breathing, I've been, doing this, so I think we need to take time just to do a recovery, we call it reevaluation.
Ooh, a recovery reevaluation. I like that. To assess ourselves to see
Right.
what's working, what's not working.
Right.
To assess myself to see what I am comfortable in.
Right.
And what is jerking my nerves. Pick one day out of the week to reflect, fix, re-energize, and recoup. Thank you, Suzanne. To recoup, to re-energize. To take a look at what's working in our lives, to assess. Some of us have been taught to take a look at ourselves, our day, at the end of the day, right before we go to sleep. To look and take a step back. Where did I do good? Where did I help? Where did I hinder, either myself or someone else? What can I do better tomorrow? Right, and that's that evaluation. What can I do better as far as my coping skills? How can I maybe do something different this time? To try something different, to be something different, right? Suzanne says usually midweek is a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Good morning. Aye. So we want to take some time to reflect. We want to get back to the same, normal. Structure and routine are comforting. So the more we can maintain our tried and true routine in the midst of change, the better off we'll be. Go for your usual morning walk. Visit the same coffee shop if you can. Try to stick to your normal sleeping, waking, and eating times. If I can keep things, copacetic? I like that word, copacetic, yeah. Big word, I can't spell it. So, but if I can keep things, those as normal as possible it can help me shift through the change, right? So keep things consistent. That's what I'm going for. Try to keep things consistent. Here's another one. Create some comfort. Incorporate stress relieving and enjoyable activities into your day. That's what you were talking about, isn't it? To incorporate those things to keep it normal, that I use the same coping skills, that I use what works for me, right? If meditation works for me, I want to do that as much as possible. If exercise, if deep breathing, if going for a walk, whatever it is that helps us feel better, that helps relieve that stress, those things that we do that help us get to the next stage. Yes, sir.
And so that's where that change comes into play. When we have those things set in place, like a safety plan or whatever you call it,
Mm-hmm.
like whether we do breathing, we color, we draw, we listen to music, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes those things get old to us.
Yeah.
So we may need to change, we may need to do that reevaluation and figure out some new coping skills
Ooh.
to help with our recovery.
Absolutely. To kick it up a notch.
Right. Readjust.
Readjust, kick it up a notch.
Right.
Use some new coping skills that can help us feel better. It says, listen to relaxing music. That's a good one for me. Listen to music is so powerful in my world. Yes, sir.
Well, even music changes too.
It does, doesn't it?
Depending on the genre.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
always a good idea to replenish your toolbox.
Oh, nice. That's what he was saying. Replenish your toolbox. Get some more tools in there. Thank you, sir. There you go. Glad you came in. You came in late, but that's fine.
Hey, I came up with us. It's like,
I'm glad you're here.
Refreshing the group.
Refreshing the group. Adding to the wisdom of the group. Pamela says, remember, you're not the same as yesterday. Today, this moment. This too will pass in the negative moments. Be present in the now. Ooh, be present in the now. If I'm able to not go back to, I failed at this before. Or if I don't go too far in the future where I'll never, or I always mess these kind of things up, right? Be present, be in that moment.
that reminds me of something I heard quite some time ago. A friend of mine told me, he's like, as long as you live day by day, each day is like forever. Endless
Yeah.
choices, endless possibilities of,
Options.
options and choices.
Yeah.
Forever is in the day.
Yeah.
That's always kind of like this hunger.
Because all we've got is today. I mean, we're not guaranteed
We're not
tomorrow in
guaranteed
any way,
tomorrow,
shape, or
and-
form. Right? So if I push everything I can into the day, right? Even though change is going on, if I use all those coping skills, if I remember to be in the present, remember if you've got 1 foot in the future and 1 foot in the past, you're pissing on today. We're not in that place of connectedness when we're not in the moment. So, okay, wait a minute. Music, meditate, go to the gym, or take a warm bath. There you go. It doesn't matter what you do as long as it's comforting and healthy. Avoid quieting troubling emotions with unhealthy behaviors such as smoking, drinking, and gambling. Don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's a trusted friend or a therapist. We can fall back into those negative things. Yes, sir.
I want to be able to, when I lay down at night, at the end of the day, just be able to relax when I'm unwinding and say, man, I made a lot of, I accomplished a lot today.
Yeah, I accomplished a lot today. And to go through that list of, what did I do today that was great? What did I do today that helped me and helped somebody else?
Right.
Absolutely. Yes,
I
Jim.
keep on coming up with changes.
Okay.
Let the time change.
Right.
That's a big change. And then you're tired for the next week.
And then like the daylight changes like that.
Mhm.
Like right now, the sun goes down at 8:30 or somewhere after 8.
I have more energy in the summer. And when it changes back in the wintertime, it starts getting dark early and everything. I have a hard time with that. You know, that's one of those changes that I've got to do, that I've got to kick up my coping skills to get through, especially that first week, because I'm tired as hell. Right when we lose that hour,
Need that.
damn, there weren't enough hours in a day already, and now I'm losing one. So do something that comforts us. Pamela says we're not weak, we're strong when we ask for help, when we push forward and play it forward too. Absolutely. We're not alone today. And that's the beautiful thing about recovery. I don't have to be alone unless I choose. And there's a difference between solitude, where I spend some time in reflection, in assessment to see what is working and what's not working. But isolation is different. Isolation is when I separate myself, when I am not connected, even to myself when I'm doing that, right? When I'm isolating. So do some things that can comfort you. Do some things that can make us feel better. When we push forward and pay it forward,
Yeah.
that's a good way. And to be able to assess that, like you said, if I can look at it in the mirror at the end of the day and say, I haven't harmed myself and I haven't harmed anybody else, it's a good day. And if I can say, I have helped myself and that's an awesome day, right? That's good stuff. Good stuff. This last one, as always, is my favorite. Count your blessings. Whether you just received a difficult diagnosis or you're about to start a new job, counting our blessings in a gratitude journal or sharing the top 3 highlights of our day with a family member at dinner can go a long way towards making us feel less depleted. Even during difficult times, things like noticing a starry sky or a beautiful sunset or watching a colorful butterfly can act almost like a reset button for your mind. Yeah.
So another way to look at it, I think, is when we receive some bad news or something, it could also mean like it's time to slow down. We're moving too fast. So it's like it's time to slow down and reset. Just take a little breather.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm in a spot where I'm really out of sorts, when I'm really off the mark, it seems like my hope, and I fall backward, and there I am, and I'm like, what? Look up, look for the solution wherever that solution is. Look for that gratitude. Look for that peace. Pamela says our story skills are the keys to others' freedom. Using our stories, using our experiences to help another get through change. I got through it, you can get through it too. The power of me too is an amazing thing, isn't it? Let's see. So counting our blessings is a big one. Counting my blessings can shift my mind so quickly, so easily, that it can, I don't know. It just goes easier for me when I'm in gratitude. When I'm able to look at the world in a positive way. When I can pull out, well, it was a really shitty day, but this happened and this was good. Right? It can shift that from a really shitty day to an okay day. And if it's an okay day, it might shift it to a really good day and then a great day. Keep shifting. Keep in gratitude. It helps. What are some other things we can do that can help us shift in change? I know. That was a good list. Acceptance.
Just, take it as it is,
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have these feelings that's gonna come around. And basically that's all the change gonna create is a feeling.
Yeah.
So take silence in the moment, like you say, use the coping skills, read, write, journal, bathe, exercise, walk. It's a whole array of things that you can do, besides staying in that funk. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of that gray area, you know what I'm saying? The toolbox is is overflowing. You know what I'm saying? You can go donate some of your time
Yeah.
doing a charity event, feeding people, anything, you know what I'm saying, to get that shift in a place where you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, so
Henry, you're on the mark. It's about action, isn't it? It's about what we do. It is always about action. It's about what I do today to make my life better. You know? And like you said, we've got this toolbox. I've got a toolbox in my living room. Now, we talk about toolboxes like with coping skills of meditation, exercise, all those good things you guys have been talking about. But I have an actual box in my living room, and it's got things in it because sometimes when my brain is kicking, I need to put my hand on something because I can't think my way out of it. So I've got things like pictures of people I love, right? I've got a Rubik's Cube that I can't do shit with. I've got chocolate. Chocolate is good. Remember, chocolate kicks up endorphins. I'm
Your own chocolate, right?
It's your own chocolate. So let's see what else. I've got a journal I can write in. I've got a list of activities I can do because sometimes when my brain shuts off, I can't think to take a walk. I can't think to call my friend Joy. She'll make me laugh. I can't think about these things because they don't come easily. So if I've got them written down, I've got my go-to. Anybody ever drop their phone in the toilet or some kind of water, right? And then you lose all your numbers and then you're in a panic. I've done that. I have a list of important phone numbers in my wellness toolbox, right? Because shit happens. God forbid I'm on a landline. Some of you all are so young you don't even know what that is. So, look, you landline. Hello? Oh, let me get Pamela. She's
Back in the days when you would call time and temp just to see what the group, what weather, and what time it was.
What time is it? Yeah, all the olden days. Yeah. Pamela says we are worthy. We have a purpose. Our journey is what has molded us. Tell ourselves we are worthy of a life we create for our own lives. Just do the work. We made it this far. Keep going to where you want to be. Absolutely. And Suzanne says changes in action already taking place. Sit back, face each moment at a time, and with confidence, knowing that your experience you've already gone through that. And don't step back. Don't step back. Always forward. Yes, sir.
Right. Change. By change again, we can say we can look at it as we're about to get some new knowledge.
Ooh, we're about to get some knowledge.
Right. Like
I like
experience and knowledge. So it's going to help us learn how to deal with it.
If I can come up at it from that point of view that this is something for me to learn from,
Right.
to grow in.
What do I have to gain from it?
Yes. What do I have to gain from it? What can I do today that's different? What can I do today? Absolutely. We have a support circle. Sheila's in the house. Thank you, Sheila. Glad you're here. She's watching from Mooresville. All right. Way out there. That's good. I'm glad you're here. Welcome everybody that's new. So change happens. Shift has to happen for me when I'm in that spot of difficulty. I want to have a plan. I want to have gratitude. I want to do things that comfort me and make me feel better. I want to choose today to do something that benefits me. Change happens. It's inevitable. How we deal with it is the key, right? Two things. Oh, Pamela's in McDowell County. We got all over North Carolina. I like it. Promise Resource Network. Hey, Lisa. We have a warm line which can help us get through change. The warm line is manned by peer support specialists who know how to listen. who know how to give resources in those situations where we can use some, who know how to see us and hear us. Those are the kind of people I want to talk to when I'm having a hard time. Those are the kind of people I want to celebrate with when I'm having a good time, when I'm doing things that help me, right? So give us a call. It's 24/7, 365. There is not a day we're not open on the warm line. So give us a call if you need. The number is 833-390-7728. That's 833-390-7728. One more thing. Share this video. Someone on your Facebook page, someone may need to hear this today. Someone may need to hear the wisdom you brought into this, right? So share it on your page. Share it on your page. I want to thank the crew, the wisdom of the audience, the Sharon Show. Oh, thank you, Pamela, putting it on the chat. 833-390-7728. All right, so give us a call. Share this class. See if someone else may benefit from it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks online to my friends out there. Thanks to my friends in here. Go out there. Have a great Monday. Shift when change comes, right? And keep peace, share love.